led the 2000s in receiving yards? Randy Moss? No. Terrell Owens? No. Marvin Harrison? Not even close. The answer is a man who has been a Hall of Fame finalist 12 times and still doesn't have a gold jacket. A man who right now holds a stat that no other receiver from the era can claim, and the voters keep finding reasons to look past it. His name is Torrey Holt, and this is the most inexcusable snub in modern NFL history. If you watched the Rams in that era, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The greatest show on turf wasn't just a nickname. It was the most explosive offense in the history of professional football at that point. And the NFL has spent the last 15 years enshrining every piece of it. Kurt Warner, in. Marshall Faulk, in. Isaac Bruce, in. Orlando Pace, in. Even head coach Dick Vermeil got his jacket. Everyone got it. Except the man who led that offense in total production. Except the number one receiver on that team for the better part of a decade. Except Torrey Holt. Now, you might be thinking he was a system guy. He had Warner throwing him the ball and Marshall Faulk drawing attention. He benefited from the situation. We're going to spend this video destroying that argument. Because Holt didn't just ride the wave of the greatest show on turf. He kept producing long after that wave crashed. And the statistics he put up, the consistency, the streaks, the numbers against elite competition tell a story that no other voters should be able to ignore.
Hello and welcome to another Sports Spin, where we take a sports story and we spin it. I'm Sun-EB7. Thank you for joining. So you saw the video up front, and I don't normally pander to the Hall of Fame that is, but I will be remiss if I don't say I understand, because if everybody gets in, then it's not really nothing. But I'm gonna say it like this: two things. Number one, the Hollywood Walk of Fame only got 2 sidewalks, but everybody on it. And there's way more actors than there are football players. But second thing, you could create levels. For instance, my idea is the Hall of Fame, everybody that's played more than 3 years and they've been productive. I'm not talking about somebody who's been there, but they've had all kinds of issues and then the stats, nothing tells you that they were contributing. I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking about you have a level for great players. Let's say, I'm going to use this as as an example. Let's say around the edge, you got a circle, a ball, like a globe. I'm just using this. And let's say around the perimeter of the globe in the world, that would be the hemisphere, the stratosphere, and all that. That's where you put your players that played 4 years plus, and they were productive. Your Ricky Waters, all your players that were productive, but they didn't move the needle enough. So, like for instance, you got your Marshall Faulks and your Eric Dickersons and your Brady's, and you got all of them. They're going in, right? But then there's that group that they're around the edge. So if you got a guy that he didn't get in, but he's good enough to get in, he just didn't get in because you only take 6, why he's not invited into, you don't have to have a ceremony for him. He can be an honorary in that hemisphere, in that stratosphere. So technically he's in the Hall of Fame, but he's not in the inducted part, right? That's giving him some kind of credit for what he did. Then you can pluck from there to get your players that are going in. It's the same thing. The only difference is it's ruled. You don't say nothing to them. You put them up there every year and then choose somebody else. It's like a beauty pageant. Yeah, and I know nothing's fail-safe. There's going to always be some complaints, but that's not an excuse for not making it better. The Hall of Fame is the same as it was 50 years ago. Why not improve it like you should improve everything? We're not driving the cars we drove 50 years ago. Yeah, there's a couple people. But you know what I'm saying. So why not improve the process? Why not make a lower echelon and invite, you know, the class for that year? Let's say, oh, I know, you already got a top 100. So let's say you got a player that was in that top 100, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. What's your excuse? You can't put 100 people in the Hall of Fame. So for those other 94 players that didn't get in the Hall of Fame, what's your excuse? They're top 100, but they didn't get in the Hall of Fame because they got to be the top 6. Why not make that top 100 in the stratosphere? Why not make them a part of the Hall of Fame, but not in the Hall of Fame? There you go. Part of the, I should be trying to get this patent or something. I mean, copywritten. No, because I would love to see them do better. That's it. I'm not looking to get the credit. If they do something like that, I'm good with it because there's a lot of players that gets left out when they shouldn't. Either that or they should create another Hall of Fame from another entity that says, well, you can get in this Hall of Fame. I bet you they'll change then when they get that competition. See, America's always been that way. When there's no competition, then they become, you know what? Because they don't have no pressure. Why do you think they're trying to get rid of all that competition stuff? So that they can buy up everything and own everything and they don't have to compete. Because when it's only them, think about it. You got a store. When that store becomes your only store, you ain't gonna be able to afford it. But as long as there's another store down the street, that shit is almost free. This is the mindset of America. And when you think about it, back to the subject, when you think about it, you take a team like the Greatest Show on Turf. This is one of the most successful, the 97 Vikings. Well, the 4 Super Bowl Vikings, the 4 Super Bowl Bills. These are teams, except for the Rams, these are teams that were the best you've ever seen but didn't get in. There should be some notoriety in the Hall of Fame for that. It don't have to be inducted. It can be, you know, they get a spot somewhere around the perimeter that shows that this was the greatest team in the NFL up to this point. You can swap it out. When the 97 Vikings did it, they go up in the Hall of Fame, yada, yada. But then when the 99 Rams came, Vikings come down, Rams go up. At least the Vikings was there until the Rams came. So that's something that you can create. I don't know if the Hall of Fame ever going to do anything like that. Don't care one way or the other. I ain't getting in. But I'm just saying, Torrey Holt should be in. But we shouldn't have to find players that this is what I said in that video. I said you never question the ones that get in. You're questioning the ones that didn't. You agree with the ones that got in. You just don't agree with the ones that didn't. And if you have to put them in order, and Torrey Holt, with what he was a part of and what he did, you telling me he couldn't have beat out none of them 6 on that stage? Yeah, I think you'd be wrong on that one. Yeah, he definitely belonged in. Not to mention he got a stat. Here's a stat he has. He had better numbers than Randy Moss in 2000. He had top 10 numbers for most of his career. Randy's in. He's not. I'm not griping about Randy. He belongs in. But so does Torrey Holt. When you talk about best receivers all time, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Randy Moss, Rice, these guys are up there. They should be in. It's not too many of them. There's receivers like forever, for days. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you're talking about the best of the best. When you're talking about the best of the best, Torrey Holt belongs in there. Isaac Bruce did not stretch that field for the Greatest Show on Turf. That was Torrey Holt. Isaac Bruce was a Jerry Rice type. He'd make that cut on you, and you can't stay with him. And then after that, he might take it to the house. But outrunning you 60 yards, 70 yards, that's Torrey Holt. That's his moniker. Torrey Holt did not drop passes. Neither one of them did. So he has all the intangibles, so he should be in. So I look at that and say, he's getting in. It's just a matter of when. And I like the fact that he hasn't said a word. You haven't heard from Torrey Holt. This guy made this video. It inspired me to say something. But hey, Torrey Holt's not whining about it. And because we don't forget. The people, the fans, we never forget. And the reason why you will never be forgotten as an NFL player if you was a star is because the fans remember where they were when something big happened. So you think fans don't know where they were when the Vikings almost went to the Super Bowl for the 5th time and the kicker, who never missed all year, missed the field goal. Every Viking fan knows where they were. The kicker missed the field goal, but I think he got in the Hall of Fame. And Minnesota will remember him always. Not as a bad thing. The guy made every kick for a year. He just missed the most important one. I mean, it happens. So, what about the Bills? The 4 Super Bowls. And nobody in Buffalo has forgotten any player on that team for 4 Super Bowls. I'm just saying they're never going to be forgotten anyway. The Hall of Fame is not what makes you remembered. They make you think that. Oh, you're enshrined. Most people don't go to Hall of Fame. Most people don't. I don't know very many people at all that look up the Hall of Fame. They get their visitors per year, don't get me wrong. But that's on the way by. You know, they're not making a lot of money on that. And it's not the Walk of Fame where people see it every day. They have to travel to it. And people have to be interested in the Hall of Fame. So it's more important that your fans remember who you were. Terrell Davis, he ain't getting in the Hall of Fame because his career was too short. There is no doubt in my mind that guy belongs in the Hall of Fame. He belonged right there with Eric Dickerson and Emmitt Smith. All that said, it is what it is. We like to talk about it like we always do. We'll bring it up. This guy made a very good video about that. It had went by the wayside. I did think about it shortly when the Hall of Fame came up, but I was happy to see Roger Craig get in. But at the end of the day, he'll get in when it's time. I'm looking forward to the time when all of them can get together and celebrate that they were the greatest show on turf, and now that greatest show on turf, for the most part, is enshrined in the Hall of Fame. It'll be fun for them. I don't care. I won't forget them. I will never forget them. So, meanwhile, I'll make sure he gets on the wall, on my Patreon page. So, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, just remember, this sports story has been spun. Take care.